2 years ago, Tanya Niederman, a mother in New Jersey, was at a restaurant when she answered her phone. The call that she got would change her life forever. A call that would tear any parent's heart out. Her only son, JJ, a typical American kid who loved to be outside, loved fishing, played hockey, had been found dead in his bedroom at home. Dead from a recreational drug laced with fentanyl. Poisoned by a drug so potent it can kill someone with an amount equivalent to a few grains of salt. Across our nation, from big cities to small towns, fentanyl is driving a surge of deaths. Last year, the Center for Disease Control estimated that over 70,000 Americans died from fentanyl overdoses in 2021. It is the leading cause of death for Americans ages 18 to 49. So Secretary Robinson, Administrator Milgram, Director Gupta, thank you for appearing before us today to speak about one of the most urgent challenges facing the American public. The Foreign Relations Committee is holding this hearing because this is a crisis we cannot solve just within our borders. According to the Drug Enforcement Administration, most of the fentanyl trafficked into the United States is produced in clandestine labs in Mexico with precursor chemicals secured from China. We need to use every foreign policy tool we have to stop the flow of fentanyl into our country. This means asking Mexico to do more to disrupt criminal organizations from producing and trafficking fentanyl. Although a politicized judiciary and incidents of Mexican security forces colluding with drug cartels will make that very difficult, but we have to try. It means expanding our work with India to strengthen regulation of its chemical and pharmaceutical industries. And of course, it also means confronting China. I doubt Xi Jinping cares about his chemical and pharmaceutical industries supplying the Mexican cartels that are flooding the United States with fentanyl. But let's be clear, his government's negligence is helping unleash a deadly wave of fentanyl-related deaths, not only here in the United States, but also in Canada, in Mexico, as well as countries in East and Southeast Asia that are struggling with their own crisis of synthetic opioids from China. While we have been trying to address this crisis for years, we all need to do more. That's why I co-authored the Fentanyl Sanctions Act with Senator Schumer in 2019, which established the Commission on Combating Synthetic Opioid Trafficking to chart a strategic approach for addressing this crisis. And last year, I co-sponsored and helped secure the enactment of Senator Shaheen's Fentanyl Results Act. And that's why I'm urging the Biden administration to take additional steps to confront the fentanyl epidemic, prioritizing counter-narcotic cooperation with willing partners, holding perpetrators and enablers of illicit fentanyl trafficking accountable. It's time for the United States to build a multilateral coalition to hold China accountable for failure to meet its international obligations to stop illicit drug trafficking. China needs to take practical and common sense steps to address this problem right now, like implementing Know Your Customer standards, which protect against fraud, corruption, and money laundering. But if Beijing fails to cooperate in good faith on indictments or on money laundering investigations, on information sharing on fentanyl and fentanyl precursor trafficking, the United States will have no choice but to take unilateral steps by expanding sanctions, visa restrictions, and other tools to protect the American people. And as the Commission on Combating Synthetic Opioid Trafficking detailed in its semi-annual report last year, we need to be just as proactive here at home. From strengthening high-tech screening at our borders to disrupting the open trafficking of fentanyl across our social media platforms, to taking additional steps to expand access to treatment and support services for those in our community struggling with substance use disorder. That's why I think it's time to revisit the 2018 Support Act to confront the growing threat of fentanyl and the pressing need to expand access to mental health and substance use services. These are just some of the dimensions of this incredible challenge, and I look forward to working on all of those iterations. With that, let me turn to the ranking member, Senator Risch, for his opening statement.